Well, good morning, our beloveds. We are making do. The weather here is a little bit blustery today. It's cold. It's in the last throes of winter. And another moment is passing, if you will, right? We are moving from the age of Aquarius into the new age, which is Aquarius plus, and then Aquarius plus plus, and so forth and so on. What you're seeing now is merely an evolution or adaptation, but it is not constant, it is not continuous, it is not reflective of the energetic shifts within the cosmos, but it is what you see, and it is highly confusing, and we honor that today. What you see being played out before your eyes is merely that, a play on a stage that is designed to manage your expectations. Now, it does not mean that in the etherical we don't see the expression of pain and death and all of that. However, when you all watch movies made by Hollywood or Bollywood, wherever, it doesn't matter. The point being is that the storylines can be comedy, they can be rom-com, they can be drama, they can be sci-fi, they can be a lot of different genres, but it doesn't change the fact that it is designed to entertain you. And this playing out of these different expressions, wherever you are on Mother Earth, it is painful now when we had predicted much of this. Now, the energies change, so when the winds shift, when the ingredients or components change, you need to work with what you have, so we can only share what the expression of it will look like, but the specifics depends on the energetic imprint of man, of the collective consciousness. And you are seeing how rapidly you all are deteriorating in one area, yet growing in others. Your expression of self is, generally speaking, more compassionate now, more loving. COVID managed to teach you all to slow down a bit and to see life for what it does offer you, to find a greater sense of appreciation in lack, because even though you lacked a lot of the excessive bling in your life, you still, for many of you, and not all of you, had your basic needs met. And for those of you who didn't, you are oftentimes still trusting that there is a lesson hidden within, which means that you are still remaining in that expression of lack. But the point today is not to focus on the lack, more on the confusion within which you find yourselves. Why would life look right now like it does? Why can man not understand how to live harmoniously with their neighbors? Why must war occur to steal natural resources or to create power plays with neighboring countries? Why can't you just simply figure out a way to live harmoniously with all? But we ask, when you look at your own individual community, would you be able to do that with what you would define as the less desirable ones in your community? Would you be able to share bread, break bread with those individuals because you believe in the trustworthiness of your neighbor whom you don't like? If you can't do it within your own life, how can you expect a larger collective of people to do it? It is still merely an expression of what is found within the individual as well as the collective. So again, as you sit here and say, do this or do that against either the Ukraine or against Russia, depending upon which side you're on, It is still a position of I'm right and you're wrong, instead of how do we really bridge the gap? So we will pose this question for you and leave it there. If you were on the Ukrainian side and you were bombed and attacked by the Russian side, how would you bridge the gap or bring peace while you are being bombed to smithereens? If you can't answer that solution in the sense of, if you cannot answer that solution versus if you cannot answer that problem, means that you all are always looking for solutions, right? You don't even look at the problems anymore. You go right to bomb them back or do this or do that. What is it within your heart that needs to be heard? What is it that you are not expressing within yourself that would bubble down instead of bubble up? Such conflict if it were with your neighbor in your own community. How do we do it at the micro? And then we will do it at the macro. It is an expression of self, and we all need to step into that space of collective conscious caring, but in a different way. If what you have done in the past was working, it would show itself, but it's not. It is he who has the biggest stick who wins. So even if some of the other countries come in and push back, it is still done with a stick-based mentality instead of a love-based mentality. And that is the piece that you all have not connected to yet, but which is coming. It is a shift in the energies. It is a shift that will allow many of you, though not all of you, to move into a new space and to find new solutions to different problems that you see. And therein lies the crux and why we have been so silent and quiet for weeks and weeks. Because we are allowing you all to just come out and express yourself as you are. And now we wish to point out, how is that working for you? How is that working for you? You keep putting on the same shoes and the same pants and the same shirt and the same everything. And when you do, when you play the same role, the same character, it's going to carry the energy of the same process. And therein lies the difference of what it is that you are being asked to provide. Don't put on the same clothes. Maybe put on a fairy tutu. Put on a Superman suit. Go as your favorite superhero, which need not be a traditional superhero. It could be a magician. It could be an actor. It could be a writer. Go to a costume party and present yourself as a new person. Someone with courage, someone with authenticity, somebody who sees the world through different eyes. Therein lies the solution. Find the young people who haven't been hardened by your horrible ways of doing the same thing every time. Find some who are young and see the world through nostalgic eyes, meaning returning to the old, and the old is finding that loving space within yourselves and finding the solutions that naturally flow from therein. But you're stuck in your same limited beliefs and therefore only see the same solutions and processes. But it is changing, and that is what this expression is here to teach you, to learn to see war through different eyes. Is it about might, or is it more about fear? When do people generally strike? What you might see as might and power may just be a power play because they're fearful. Because if you really felt powerful, you wouldn't need to act at all. Think of the abusive parent who must beat his child into submission because he doesn't trust that the child will know intuitively and inherently what is right. So what you see is corporal punishment to teach the child to respect their elders merely teaches them to feel that this world is not a safe place and that if they don't comply, that they will be beaten. How does that change your psyche? Changes it for the worse into a fear-based society. Beginning to connect the dots. This is all connected to narcissism, Sapolsky, the Kikerak tribe. Be in the present. See what we are showing you. We are showing you who you are and why it's not working. Because you elected the wrong leaders. It's that simple. You're beginning to see how your processes are the problems, and you will need to find vastly new solutions in order to break out of this cycle of abuse, individually and collectively. Therein is the answer for today's message, and so it is. Namaste.